Welcome, everyone, to episode 369 of Just Joshing. It has finally come and arrived, ladies and gentlemen. This is the one and only episode in which I did my first ever Zoomcast with the incredible Sofia Evangelina. I suited up and I did everything for it, and it was an experience. Technically speaking, man, I kick myself still a little bit. Some of the things I missed, I kick myself. And fortunately, a very wise Western woman told me, Josh, that first crepe is always going to be a little lumpy, but it still doesn't take away how delicious it can be. And this was still an amazing conversation. I did a little video after the fact. Sofia's one of my favorite interviews. There's two reasons for that. Actually, there's three. The first is she's grown up a lot faster. I know women 30 years older than she is that don't have it as together as she does. I might not have it as together as she does. I mean, I have to learn to live with that. I'm okay with that. But I have to learn to live with that. She's grown up very fast. There's two things about her that I really enjoy. She's learned how to demand respect from people, which is going to save her a ton of time in life. Something I don't know if it's a Russian genetic thing. I don't know if it's just from her mom. But yeah, there's a mental toughness there. But there's still that, the second reason I love her is there's still that, blunt honesty to her. And I love it. I really dig it because it's I know she wears her passion on her sleeve. And my sincere hope for Sofia going forward is that she's always able to find it and keep it. Especially as she becomes more successful, because that's probably the biggest challenge successful people have, is balancing that passion and keeping that necessarily guard up, because everybody wants what you have. I'm hoping that she can keep that enthusiasm, because I love it. It's my favorite thing about her as a person. Number three, she's really good. She's really, really good. And I'm very fortunate to get these kind of opportunities with people like Sofia, and I don't take them for lightly at all. So, yeah, this is my first Zoomcast. I learned an awful lot. I'll talk a little bit. In my newsletter, I'm going to talk about, what I think should be done with Zoomcast going forward. But, yeah, I really enjoyed this conversation and this opportunity, and I think you guys will enjoy this conversation too. So, without further ado, let's just get to it, shall we?
This episode of Just Joshing is sponsored by Indie Imprint. Indie Imprint supports creators by creators. Whether you are writing a book or creating a video game, Indie Imprint works with its clients to produce, edit, and present their projects to the world. For more information, check out their website at www.indieimprint.com.
Taking all my years of singing and hard work and putting it into my first body of work. And at the time, that was showing off my growing range and capabilities. And, it was a time where I was able to take pieces of all of my inspirations from different eras and classes and, different artists and really put them into one piece of work. And so, yeah, that was not only a great experience to record my first album and to put the first body of work together, but that's also the first time I ever, wrote my own songs from start to finish and created a tangible piece of work. So you're muted again.
Yeah, I did it again. I'm very it's Zoom. I'm not Zoom thing. It's a huge achievement though. I like I said, when I met you, you were 15. It's not every day you see a 15-year-old, hey, I have an album. It's like, holy crap. I guess that's a huge accomplishment. No matter how you look at that, it's a huge achievement. So was the work itself the achievement for you? What did you learn from it?
Yeah, well, so much. I mean, like I said, that the writing process was probably the most beautiful thing for me, because prior to that point, as a very little girl, I wanted to express myself. I wanted to write music. Did I know how? Not exactly. So I created my own scriptures and symbols to try to illustrate what I felt inside or what I heard in my head. But outside of just words on a page or melodies in my head, I had never had a song before. So when we actually went in there and I was taught by my first producer at the time how to create a song from start to finish, my mind was blown. I mean, it's like every dream I had I could see into the future, and I could see hundreds and hundreds of songs, because I just felt like I'm a fountain now. I'm just going to keep flowing these songs. And so the album itself was a huge learning experience because, it was my first thing. And before that, we didn't know anything about the music industry, how it worked, how it operated. To this day, I say it's like the Wild Wild West, and it's currently changing, but you got to know how to play the game. So when we released that album, we figured out obviously how to distribute it, how to try our bat at promoting it. And obviously that was a beginning. So we learned many things in the process, and it brought us to actually winning an award. So last July, I won an award from the Young Artists Academy, and they're one of the longest standing youth awards in the world. And they're in Hollywood, and they've recognized every major star that you ever know. The list is literally this big. And it was such an honor to be recognized for my very, very first piece of work, because to me it was so rookie, it was so beginning, and yet to them, it was recognized. And not only that, but it meant the world to me to find out that I won not based on a jury, but I won based on a membership voting of other peers. So every other talented kid who was a part of that organization, in the runnings, they vote for each other. And when I knew that my music related to these peers, it meant the world to me. So, it was a huge learning experience.
There you go. I got the unmoving thing right this time. It's good. No matter how you look at that, that's incredibly impressive. A question I kind of asked, like, is it easy to settle on your laurels, or does it make you hungrier when you achieve something like that?
Oh my God! To me, it's like, oh my God! It makes me like crazy, like a wolf. I want to go run, and I want to go and achieve things. Like, it definitely. I always say, even the sky's not the limit, and I believe that hugely, because every achievement that you achieve, you set higher up and higher up to the horizons of what's possible, right? So if you think that cloud is your next goal, you get to that cloud, and then you realize, hey, you see out into the atmosphere, and then you go and you get out into the atmosphere. The next thing you know, there's a galaxy waiting for you, and then there's another universe, so it's never ending. And I feel like I'm going to be that kind of person where I'll be like 100 years old and maybe with a cane. Hopefully I'll be in good shape, but I'll be still singing, and I'll still be performing if I can. I just want to never stop. So.
That's great. Because honestly, it's hard. One of the hardest things for me, like when I was doing this, was success scares people sometimes more than failure does. Failure, everybody kind of knows how to fail. Everybody's falling off the bicycle. But when you succeed, it's like, holy crap! And now you have these expectations to go even higher and better, right? And you have to challenge yourself. Again, those expectations can crush. It's actually it's refreshing that it made you go the other way. It's like, I want to go and I want to do more and achieve more and accomplish more. And then I remember, like, for me, the next single I heard from you was Smile, which came out, I think it was late last year. I could be wrong on that, maybe on my dates, but that's what it came. And that also was like an evolution from your album. Like, you became more comfortable as an artist. Is that an accurate thing to say?
Absolutely, yes. And I'm glad you touched on that. In between Smile and my last album, I also had another song come out called This Is Your Song, and that was recorded when I was 14 at the same time of the album. And that was also obviously one of the first songs I ever wrote, and it was very dear to my heart at the time because it was all experiences I gathered from kids around the world and interacting with them. And it's a song to empower youth. It's about, putting an end to not only the bully, but to the pain that the bully feels. So, at that point, I got invited to be a part of an organization called Generations Against Bullying, who has an amazing initiative to go into schools and to tour around with artists and inspire kids to lead their best life, which is exactly what I stand for at my core. So that song also got a couple awards, and it was a good music video experience at the time. And then, yes, we had other songs part of the album that never got released because by the time I had evolved, so much time had gone through, my voice had changed so much, and it constantly is. And also my songwriting skills and my initiatives had changed as an artist. So decided just to use those as an experience. And then, yes, the next recording bundle I had was where I recorded Smile, and I also recorded my next single, which I'll just tell you about in a second. But Smile got released at the end of last year, about 4 months ago or so. And it was such an amazing time for me because that song is also very dear to my heart. I think it just happens to be every song I write so far is really dear to me. Smile is just, an uplifting song, really kind of happy-go-lucky, but it's meant to inspire people that even the smallest, the subtlest little genuine movement toward each other, considered as a smile, can change each other's life. So that song basically wrote itself, and then when we released it, my mom and I were pretty proud of ourselves because we had no money. We had not really much support at that time because we were releasing it independently, and basically we still got about 150,000 streams. It was on some international radio stations all around the world. Many DJs were calling us, and we were getting many interview requests. And a lot of people actually were calling into radio stations like, "Who is this? Who is this girl? We don't know her. Like, where is she coming from?" And that was great. That's exactly what we wanted. So that led us to the point where we are now, where we can continue building like a pyramid. We're adding the layers. So now all these fans we created from the release are now waiting for new, bigger, epicer stuff. And that brings us to the next one. You're muted.
I'm terrible at this. I'm sorry. This is me just playing with trying to figure out the best of some of the things. This is my first. I'm gonna apologize for any errors I made, ladies and gentlemen. It's my this is my first Zoomcast like this, so I'm learning some stuff as we go as well. So my apologies to you as well on this. But so you went from Smile to your new one, which I've heard. Thank you, by the way. It's called Endure. So you wrote this. So when did you write it? It applies especially to now. So when did you write it, and where did that come from?
Oh, wow. Well, this song is very different, and I think anybody who knows me personally will know that it's kind of a new phase because it's epic and it's big, not necessarily butterflies and rainbows. It's something deeper than that. And we wrote the song actually around the same time. We recorded at the same time as Smile, and that was about a year ago. And this song was written literally from the bottom of my heart in a strong way. It's a song about when you are faced by life's most treacherous trials, most challenging days, moments where you feel like you are nothing in existence, and you have the will to either give up and give in and let yourself go and give in to the evil, or you can put up a fist fight and you can endure. And so that is when we wrote that song. And it features so many different, brand new. Can I talk a little louder? Anita said. Yes, it features so many of my metaphors that go directly into, whether it was painful or learning experiences of my life that, churned me into the lioness that I feel that I am today and growing and evolving to be. And so, I felt that so many of these metaphors not only relate so deeply to my life, but they can relate universally to people. And I'm going to touch on those after you hear a preview because it'll only make sense. You're muted again.
This is going to be the interview where I'm just notorious for just muting myself constantly so I talk. I'm sorry. But what I get from what I got listening to the song, like I said, and we've talked about this off the air, it's not even about necessarily just endurance. It's about resolve. Like I like the thing I really liked about it was it's somber for you. You're like in comparison to some of your other stuff, it's not as poppy. It's not as I guess happy is the right word. I'm not sure if that's the right way to describe it, but it's that's how I describe it. But it's more mature. There's this quiet resolve that no matter what, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep doing stuff. Is that accurate? Is that what you were going for, or is it just my interpretation of this?
No, of course. I mean, for me, I feel my whole life is a resolution. And that sounds weird when I say it out loud, but for me, even when I've been in my darkest days and I feel like I want to be sad, I want to feel down because I'm so foreign to that. I just can't. Because it's like a time, it rolls over, and the next thing you know, my mind and my spirit is lifting me to something bigger and greater because I feel like I was born for something and something really big. And so I feel like it's a crime against myself and maybe against future humanity if I'm not going to live up to my expectations. And if I'm not going to live up to my success, which is my obligation, so with that being said, when I face those obstacles or I face those dark times, however scary, bad, or horrid they may be, they're all just a part of my story, and they're all part of a book. And a book wouldn't be a book if it didn't have all those chapters and all those obstacles, right? So.
How old are you again? I almost don't believe you. I almost don't believe you. You definitely, like, again, I did not have this together at 17. So, I mean, it's very impressive to me that you've done what you've done in the time you have. So, do you feel like maybe we should let the audience hear it?
Yes. You guys want to hear it? Give me jazz hands.
Okay.
Great. I'm not sure how well this is going to work. Disclaimer, because we figured out that I can only play it through my laptop, so fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Here we go. It's a little 1.5-minute preview, guys. The song is intense, so it's just going to scratch the surface for you. Okay, I'm going to play it now. Gotta do this, I'm setting sail. Time is coming, I'm gonna bail. I won't fail. No. Storms are clearing, I've been preparing. I'm more daring. I am more daring. Swimming with the great white, we can take a ride. Back by the wall, there's no moonlight. I'll put up a fight. I was made for so much more. I will endure. I've been in this place before. I will close. Yeah, so guys, that was an itsy bitsy tiny little preview of Endure. Thank you, Darius, and thank you everybody for your kind little chats. I saw them coming in. I appreciate it. I honestly can't wait till you hear the end of that song because that's my favorite.
So first, okay, on personal note, I love that you bopped your own song. I really think that's really cool. I really do. No, because, well, you see, just from my writing background, if I'm into the story, I know it's at least good to me, right? It's always cool when you see an artist actually bop into their own stuff. That means, like, you're proud of it. Like, you're into it. Like, you're into it, right? So, and that's awesome. Like, that's really cool. So, congrats on the song. Like I said, I've heard it. It's amazing. Couple things. So, this is a very different Sofia Evangelina than the one that did Butterfly. What's the difference in the songwriting? Like, how have you matured and what have you learned since then?
Well, to be honest, okay. Some of you who know me, some of you don't. Actually, a lot of you who know me know that I used to be an extreme sports athlete, right? So as I used to be an extreme sport athlete, I mean, I've always been really tiny, small frame, and so, considering, 80 pounds with a badass mind and a badass kind of regime of life and doing one of the most dangerous sports that you can do, that's kind of who I was born. Is like, I have this soul that's drawn to arts and more than anything drawn to music. But my spirit is driven to be wild and kind of a dare angel is what we've called myself since I was really little. I'm not a devil. And so basically, I don't even know where to start to say that this is a new me because I've always been very strong-minded. I believe in being a kind and loving person. But hell no, somebody tries to make you feel less than you are, or somebody tries to mess with your ways, somebody tries to get in front of you and your dreams and your success, or anybody you love, you got to stand up for yourself. You got to put up a fight. And you can do that in an ethical and beautiful way, because that's what makes you you. But there's not a chance that anybody can ever come between you and your dreams. So that's where my backbone comes in. That's where the skills come in. So I feel like for some people this might seem like a shock. For me, it feels like I can breathe, because this is such a big part of it. And when I wrote this song, sometimes I almost felt like crying, because it was like, so many people don't know what I've been through in my life in many ways, and many of the hard times I've faced. I mean, I'm blessed to have such a beautiful life and such a beautiful mom and a beautiful family, and I could sing every day of happiness. But I've also had my fair share of dark times. But it's not about the dark times. It's how you come out of those dark times and who they make you. Some of the world's most greatest billionaires and entrepreneurs and successful people, they came from the roughest spots with a life that you cannot fathom. And yet some of the other people who turn their lives into being criminals or, gangsters of some sorts who don't put their wills in the right places, what will they tell you? That they're a victim. They came from a dark place, a dark time. You all come from a certain moment in your life. And you have to decide what you're going to make of yourself. And so in my instance, I chose to go through those times and to turn whatever pain I experienced from them, or whatever distraught, into fuel. And so I was hoping that this song could speak measures from my soul into other people.
So I kind of share a similar philosophy. I went through my own personal apocalypse about 10 years ago, and I realized that you can be whoever you want to be going forward, no matter what the times are. And oftentimes it's about choosing who you're going to be in this time. And I really dig the song. So let's go to a fun little question, because as you say, you're super tough as nails. As you said, you definitely got big goals and big visions. So, what's your vision a year from now?
A year from now, okay. Well, I'm going to chime in, and then if Terry, is my man, can get in, he'll tell a little bit of what he sees fit. But basically, no joke, no pun intended, but world domination. I feel ready, to do big things. And I feel so ready to undertake a mission, to be an artist with a voice and to help people and to change things. And, I expect to be touring worldwide. I want to have an incredible fan base. I want some hot singles on the radio. So, Tyrus, since you're here, if you can unmute yourself. I don't know if your video's working, but if it is, you can do that too. And why don't you share a little bit of what we're going to be going for and who you are for In My Life.
Okay. Can everybody hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Hello. I'm sorry that my video is not working. This is actually maybe my second Zoom call, and it's not going very well. But
nice to meet you, Mr. Max.
Okay. So I'm Terrius Miller. I'm the CEO of Influence the Culture Music Group here in Atlanta. And we have a lot of amazing things on the way for Sofia, man. She's, aside from the great big voice, the singing and that stuff, you see that she's a star. You know what I mean? So, we love the voice. We love all that stuff. But we love the star potential that she has. And, at 17, it's like, you don't get that too often. So I know as soon as everything opens back up, we're going to bring Sofia down to Atlanta, and we're going to get in the studio. I have my Grammy-winning writers and producers. We're creating music. Sofia's writing to a lot of the tracks and stuff like that. But, we're just going to go in and create this crazy content for Sofia. And, we already have situations lined up, and, it's going to be a very easy sale. But like I said, we're selling Sofia. You know what I mean? Like, the music part is easy, but the superstar part, it's not a lot of superstars in the world. And I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but when I say superstar, like, that's what she is, and that's what we love to work with. So, yeah, man, we got a lot of great things going on for Sofia. Soon as we can get her down here and get in the studio and cut these records.
Aw, thank you so much, Chase. That was the sweetest thing I could ever hear. And no, I'm really glad to have an amazing new team formed. Because up to this point, it's been Mama Bear and I against the world, and now we're gonna have a clan of bears. So you better watch out.
Absolutely.
So you gonna remember me when you're all rich and famous?
Oh my God, you're gonna be successful on your own dime, but of course.
Yes. No, it's cool. Honestly, I'm happy for you. Congratulations. I mean, you deserve it. You work your ass off to get to what you're at. So, well, we've talked about the song. We've talked about your future. Oh.
Gosh, can I quickly, because I wanted to just say one more thing about Endor's lyrics that we didn't get to touch on.
Sure.
One thing was, when it comes back to, that metaphor, I just wanted to really explain it to somebody. Coming to the lyrics of swing with the great whites, they can take a bite, or circle by the wolves, there's no moon tonight. I just wanted to touch on those metaphors. Scream a million stories into my mind about my life, but sure. I just know that they can scream so many stories into your guys' life. For example, can you just imagine being in an ocean, feeling like the smallest little, microphone with this ginormous shark around you? That is a huge metaphor that you can be taken down in an instant. You could have all odds against you, and yet you decide you're going to resurface and you're going to bite that shark. You're going to fight that shark. So I just wanted to touch base on those lyrics, and I really wanted people, when it comes out, to read the lyrics and to listen to the lyrics, because they're equally as important to me as the singing. So, yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I had a vision of you actually attacking the shark. I actually felt sorry for the shark. So I actually felt sorry for it. It's like, no, it's the right attitude. It really is. I'm really... There's no other way to say it. You're very impressive. You have always been very impressive. So so thank you for motivating me, because you're kind of like, because if you can go out and take over the world, I can do my own way. So thank you.
Yes, and absolutely, and that is my greatest vision of ever. That was great English, by the way. Greatest vision of ever is to inspire people that to live their greatnesses and shine their greatness. Since I was a really little girl, I've always thought that everybody shines at something, and together we make the world bright. So, also, I just want to really say, I'm also like a super big, silly, goofy girl, and my bestie on here, Cameron, she can confirm that. So, just in case you're thinking that I'm like super well put together, maybe most of the time, but yeah, I'm also silly. So, anyways, I thought we would do a little question and answers. With everybody here.
I'm about to roll that into that, actually.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna unmute.
Okay.
If you got a question, if you guys have a question for Sophia, feel free to ask her anything you'd like. Right? Mine was, how much would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? But that's mine, right? But everybody else can ask whatever they'd like, and she's going to answer questions for either 10 minutes or until questions run out, one way or the other. Does that sound good, Sophia?
Yeah. How about people can just raise their hand? So that it's like not talking at the same time, and then we'll just keep it going until the fire burns out. So hit it, guys. Are you ready? Oh, Dakota, yes, sweetheart. Why don't you unmute yourself?
Hi, Sophia.
Hello, sweetheart. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. What have you been doing during quarantine?
That's a great question. Such an intellectual question. Well, actually, as most people, a lot of our plans got halted because of this. And instead of waiting around, we decided to take things into our own hands and use this as really productive time. My family, unfortunately, have some family members that are a little bit sick and they were facing some harder times. So, we took a bit of a rut and we had to reground ourselves, but we recharged our batteries to be stronger. And now we are learning things like putting an online business together. I've also, we're studying all the different ways of online marketing and online, creations, because it's the future, right? Even as an artist, you're a business, right? So whether that's all sorts of advertising and marketing, or selling things, right? You're selling your products. So we've been learning that, putting our mind into that. And of course, I'm singing every day, and I love putting my time into piano and guitar and hanging out with my mom and my family and my doggy, my fluffy little white puppy. You remember Alaska, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you, Dakota. I'm so happy you're here, and I hope to see you soon, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. Who else has a question? I don't see. I'm scrolling through. Oh, Rihanna, hi. Yes, hi, Ree. Oh, you're muted, sweetheart. There you are.
Better?
Yeah.
Yeah, so great to see you again. Yeah, your latest song reminds has some Adele flair to it. You really have matured. It's incredible. And just wondering, when you first started singing, did you have anybody that you looked up to that really, really inspired you?
Oh, as a singer? Rihanna, could you sorry, you broke up.
As a singer, yeah.
Yeah. Hold on a sec.
No, I'm just wondering, like when you first started singing, yeah, if you had somebody that you had
As an inspiration, yes, absolutely. Well, when I started out, how it goes is my mom originally brought me to see, like, she introduced me to the movie Phantom of the Opera, right? And I was taken aback by the whole movie. I learned the whole score, and then she took me to Las Vegas to see the live show. And so I was into that at the very beginning. And then my mom brought me the movie Burlesque. And the first minute we turned that movie on, and I heard Christina Aguilera sing, my jaw dropped, and I was like electrified. I heard her voice, and I felt everything in me, all that passion, all that energy, all that sassiness, all that fire. I wanted to sing, and I wanted to sing loud and big and proud. And so she became primarily my biggest inspiration. And then that branched out into my mom and I taking a trip into old Soul Town and looking at Etta James and Nina Simone and Aretha Franklin, and just tons of amazing, like Muddy Walter and all these blues and Motown kind of figures. I just, still to this day, I absolutely adore them. And so I became very inspired by them. And then to New Day's idols like Mariah Carey, Beyonce, Queen Bee. She's a performer beyond words. And I think that really sums it up. Yeah, but Christina really started it for me. So.
Before we get to the next Q&A, I actually have an interesting question that came to my head. What, if you could cover a Christina Aguilera song, which one?
If I could cover?
Yeah, if you do a cover for an album, which one would you do?
Oh, I've done so many since I was like 7. But, oh my God, there's so many. Probably an underrated one that I really love is called Walk Away. And it's this really deep song. Huge.
Yeah. That's cool. All right, who's next?
Anybody? Cameron! Yay!
Okay, so wait, can you hear me?
Yeah, hey girl.
So how have you stayed like motivated during quarantine? Like being able to like sing and like schoolwork and like all the things you're doing?
Oh my God. Well, thanks girl. So basically quarantine, you can look at it 2 ways, right? You can look at it as a giant vacation, or you can look at it as a giant like school, like a university where it's like a regime. And obviously it's easy to feel like it's a vacation, and it can be if you're busy and you wanted a break, that's great. For us, I feel like there's no other option. We don't have time to sit and waste and to be unproductive. We have to use every living second to get ahead in some way, shape, or form. And at the end of the day, it feels like we've done nothing. And it's still not enough. So we need to like learn how to be even more productive with our time, because we're trying to learn so much, and yet there's even more to learn. So I think for us now, we're trying to put together a timetable of how to utilize our time properly. But I guess I stay motivated because I know that if I put in the work now, however many months or so on from now, the results will churn. And yes, that's a word, like churning butter. They will churn into results.
Okay, so before we get to the next one from the mic, there's one from out the microphone goes, so I know microphone here today. Sophia, you're such an amazing role model. What is your advice to young people that want to chase their dreams like you?
Chris, hi. I know I can't see you, but I missed seeing you. Hope you're well. Thank you. Well, first of all, that is a very big compliment, and I really appreciate it. My advice to young people that want to chase my dreams is that you literally have to do whatever it takes. And that's a very broad term, but if you really break it down, you'll understand that that's going to mean you're going to have to sacrifice a lot of things. And that's going to be hard for some people. And it is hard in the beginning until you start to see results. And you're going to have to learn how to discipline yourself. I'm still learning every day how to not be distracted, how to be more focused, and like I kind of mentioned before, how to utilize my time. But whatever your dream is, to be great, you can't be normal. And so that takes some time to realize sometimes. I mean, every girl wants to just go shopping and hang out with her friends. And that's okay once in a while, of course, too. But you have to realize what your priorities are. And if you want your dream bad enough, there's no chance you can't achieve it. And that's what my mom taught me. And so it's kind of just the only way of life that I know, you know. But I think anybody can absolutely crush their dreams if they just put their whole heart into it.
All right. Is there anyone else that has a question?
Oh, Anita.
Hey, Sophia.
Hey, Mama Anita.
I'm super proud of you, and you're a real inspiration. So I'm not sure what my question is. I remember when you were little, and just blown away with when you were training for the Olympics, and I didn't understand how a little person could do that. But would you say that that difficult training really has helped you with your discipline with singing?
Oh my God, I'm really glad you asked that. 1,000,001%. At the time when I was still little, quote unquote, I mean I'm still little, but like I'm just tiny. But when I was really little and I was still skiing and I was competing, there was a time when I started also going into talent competitions. And I remember this one time I was in between a ski competition and a talent competition, and I only had like 3 days to prepare for this talent competition. And usually it was something that kids and people prepared the whole year for, you know, preparing their monologues and their scenes and their runways if you're modeling and your songs if you're singing. And I had 3 days. And so everybody's like, no, you're crazy. You're not going to be ready. And I decided that I'm going to do it and I want to do it so I can do it. So I did it and I actually ended up winning. And it was a very beautiful experience for me because that was the first time my mom really showed me that, look, hon, if you have the mind of an athlete, you can do anything. Because when I was in this most dangerous sport, you develop a mind of steel. Before you enter your run, you have to assess every situation. In 1 second, you have to assess like 15 different dangers to your life. And so I learned from a very young age, just because that's the only life I knew from growing up was, you know, being in my sports was, you know, how to be that disciplined and focused and stay strong on my feet. So I'm forever grateful for who it made me. And sometimes I have to kick myself in the butt, or my mom does for me, to say, remember where you came from and remember your focus and your drive, because that's who you are. And so, and that's how I keep myself on track, is because I know that I have been that and I can be that. So, yeah.
I got another question, but I'll let anybody else. Does anybody else want to chime in? Because there's something I kind of want to add to that.
That's, you wanted to, Josh, you want to chime in, and then Bassem will go to your question after, okay?
Okay, so I actually was going to bring this up at some point where we did a much more looser discussion, but you have a lot of disciplines in your life. Like you were an athlete, you're a musician. So is it mentally the same game for you? Like in terms of just the repetition, the work, the challenge of whatever the challenge of the day is? Or because it's a more mental, creative, it's a different energy than say when you're competing. So, but a lot of the same discipline. So is there like a big difference between the two, or is it actually very similar?
Well, in theory, they are similar, but obviously the details are very different. I mean, as an athlete, it was like waking up at 6 a.m., going to the hill, then going to private trampoline for 3 hours, then a nutrition, and then a mental sports, your sports psychologist, and then this whole regime every day, the same amount of training and stretches and diet and nutrition. And the next day be a gym session and then water amp for 6 hours. It's extensive and it's draining. You feel like you're dead at the end of the day. But to be honest with you, this music industry is kind of more tiring because it's a different mission. As an athlete, I was serving my purpose, and that was to fill my spirit's drive, I guess, and to be the best that I could be. And obviously, I wanted to inspire other athletes and females in the sport and become number one. But, you know, you're serving a smaller mission, right? It was when I switched to music 111% that I realized that I have such a huge calling to respond to. I have a responsibility, and I felt that if you know you can offer so much to the world, you're serving the world a mission. And I felt like it was my obligation, my responsibility to undertake this. So, you know, I think the difference is I feel more pressured, you know, to live up to what I dream to be. Because sometimes in my mind, I dream so big, it's really hard to live up to, but that's the only way. So that makes it a bigger job. And, you know, instead of, 12 hours of extenuous work, you're doing like 20 hours of like crazy mind work and vulnerable soul work of writing or singing, or kind of when you are an artist, you're more than just a musician. You know, you could end up being an idol to so many people, and you have to respect that because they look up to you, and that's why you have to be a good person. You have to be a role model. So I'm constantly working on myself and my value system and strengthening everything that makes me me, you know? So to answer your question, it's harder for me in a good way as an artist because of the large mission.
You're like the type that enjoys a challenge. So I definitely could see that with you. All right, who's got any more questions? We got. How many more do you want to take? By the way, how many more?
Joshua Bassam had a question.
No.
Hey, unmute yourself, Bassam.
Hey, so first of all, before I get into my question, I just want to say, like, from meeting you and like working with you when you were skiing like 5 years ago and seeing how much you've grown up, it's been amazing to see, and great to see that you're finding success in, I guess, your chosen career path. And like everyone else, like, I don't know, like how well you all know Sofia, but like when I first met her some 5 odd years ago, I'm like, this girl's going places. It might not be in skiing, but she'll go places. And just seeing how she's grown and developed in the last 5 years has been amazing. I'm excited to see what happens in the next 5-10 years. So my question was, so with skiing and obviously going into music, everything, there's, I guess, an element of mental toughness involved. And even back then, like, I remember one contest in Calgary just seeing your mental toughness and everything. But as you've grown and everything, like, when you look at like some, I guess, like successful people, like in their mental toughness, which ones have you, I guess, been most inspired by in regards to their mental toughness and what they've done to overcome any challenges to get to where they got to be?
Well, first of all, thank you so much. And thank you for coming, Bassam. I really appreciate your kind words. They mean a lot to me, especially for somebody who met me so long ago. I appreciate those rooted people who've known me for a long time. Yes, mental toughness is so important. I mean, especially in the world that we live in today, there can be so many people pulling you side to side, or sources or information. I mean, it's truly insane. My biggest inspiration, to be very honest, has been my mom in one part, because, you know, she faced the most craziest things and she seems to rise above it every time. And so if I could even be half as great as she is, I feel like that would be a success. And, you know, my mom always tells me that she wants me to be a good person more than any career, more than any vocals, more than any beauty. You know, she doesn't care about that so much. Like, of course, if you're pretty, if you sing good, that's a great bonus. But she wants me to have a good head on my shoulders. So that's why I strive to have a good mental game. But I obviously go through challenges just like anybody else. And recently, though, other inspirations. I'm going to go through this quickly. So we went to Grant Cardone's little convention. Not little, but 30,000 people were there. It's huge. And he himself is an insane person. I've been drawing a lot of inspiration from entrepreneurs and business people. It's because a lot of them are musicians. A lot of them are athletes. A lot of them are regular people turn entrepreneurs, and it took the most incredible mind power. Grant himself, by the time he was 10 years old, his father died. By the time he was 15, the only other man in the house, his older brother, died. And at that point, his mom was like a single mom of like 4 kids, and he was going through incredible challenges, and he became addicted to substances and abused them. And he turned his life around to become a billionaire, basically, long story short. And when we went to his convention, there was Usher, there was Scooter Braun, there was John Travolta, there was Magic Johnson, there was Floyd Mayweather. I could go on. There was every influential person you could imagine, whether they were an athlete or a musician or any other kind of key figure, turned into business mogul. They will all tell you they went through the hardest times. Like Kevin Hart, his story is insane. I mean, so many people maybe know this, maybe don't, but he came from a story that could have turned him into a criminal, and it turned a lot of people from where he's from into criminals. Usher, Floyd Mayweather had like a bedroom with 9 siblings and no electricity and like no food and a father in jail and an alcoholic mother, and he turned himself into a billionaire and first self-managing wrestler. So, I look up to those people because I realized that if they've done whatever it took to turn their dreams into reality from having negative nothing, it's like not like they had nothing, they had reverse nothing, then I can do it and anybody can do it. So to answer your question, I look up to those people.
Okay, so we got another question from the comments section, and that is, your mom, it sounds like an incredible person. Guys, Mama Bear really is. My question to you, you have constantly said that you are working on yourself and being a better person. What is the number one thing that you do to help propel yourself forward mentally?
Oh, well, these are great questions. I love these. When I do question and answers on Instagram, they ask me what my favorite ice cream flavor is. No, this is great. What is the number one thing that you do to move forward mentally? Thank you for the question. It's really grounding myself and realizing what my dream is and focusing on it. It's easy to distract from your track. You're on a train track and it's easy to fall. And when you get off track, you tend to get deeper and deeper and deeper. Those can be, thoughts of low self-esteem, low self-worth. It could be anything. And it's nonsense. It's like a little devil in your ear. But what I mean to say is that the lower you go, the lower you go. And nobody's going to stop you. There's not one inspirational figure. There's not one inspirational speaker that can shake you and tell you to change your life, except for you. And, sometimes it takes people some time to realize that. But when you realize that you're the only person who can change your life, then, whether it's a painful process or not, you have to keep yourself on track. And you have to keep yourself motivated because, nobody cares about your success except for you because it's your responsibility. So.
All right. So do we have anything more? Because I actually thought making our game a little bit more fun. So before we do that, is there any more questions?
Anybody else? How about I'm just gonna ask, and if you don't have a question, that's fine. Starma, oh my God, you're here, Starma. Hi, how are you? I'm sorry, I'm putting you on the spot. Do you have a question?
Oh, good.
No, it's fine to be here. Thank you so much. And yeah, you're an inspiring person, so I'm just have more joy to be here. And thank you.
Thanks, Star. Miss you, and I hope you're good. How about Jaden? Jaden, I'm not sure if you have a microphone.
Hi, Sophia.
Hi, how are you? I can't see you, but thank you for coming. I'm so glad you're here. Do you have a question by any chance?
I actually was wondering, are you going to be making any more albums?
Albums. Well, I have an EP in the works. That's something that me and my team, we want to put together. We want to put a body of work together, a new conformed body. And I'm really excited, to be honest. Albums are so fun.
Yeah, I love Butterfly, so I would be really, really excited to see what else you got coming out.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, well, the next stuff is definitely going to be up there. It's going to be a lot different than Butterfly. So if you're already on board, I'm so happy to have you. Thanks.
Awesome.
Okay, Marika, hi. Thank you for coming, Marika. I know I don't see you, but by any chance, do you have a question? And if you do, just unmute yourself.
Yeah, hi, Sophia. It's nice to see you, and I'm so proud of you, and congratulations. And
thank you.
I'm kind of emotional right now because you are amazing, and I'm going through some hard time right now, and you inspire me. So thank you so much.
Oh my God! Don't make me cry. That's incredible. Thank you, Marika.
So I'm just so proud of you because you're following your dreams, and you are successful and amazing. And for the great leader with you who's supporting you and be with you all the time, no matter what. So thank you for her as well.
Oh my goodness, Marika, I wish I could give you a hug right now. Thank you so much, Marika. And, I don't know what you're going through right now, but I know you enough to know that you're going to get through it because, you're pursuing your dream. And, nobody here knows you, but I do. And I know what you're doing. And I know you're going to do great in it because, I haven't seen many people like you in that way that so excitingly pursue their dream, like you're just going for it. And I know you will succeed. So I wish you.
Yeah, thank you. And you are admiring. No, I will say that. Sorry, you're inspiring me. Sorry. Yeah, that's the energy, and you are amazing. You are a great person, inside out, and everything. You are amazing. So thank you so much. Energy and your successful life and everything. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marika. Wish you the love. I wish you all the love in the world. Well, I don't even know what to say. This has been more than what I signed up for. This has been absolutely like, my heart is like going all over my chest right now. It's crazy. So if anybody else has a question, just let me know. But other than that, I guess we're done for the interview part. And Josh, you wanted to do fun and silly. So if you guys want to stick around, we're going to do something funny. Just drop all the talks and get down to the silly stuff.
So this is what me and her discussed. And I'm going to leave this up to the audience to see what they want to add to this a little bit. So we are going to improv a story. Now, I'm a little nuts. I know she's got a good imagination herself, but I thought you make this a little bit more interesting. So I took part of the Calgary Underground Film Festival about 10 years ago, and we were given three things: a scene, a setting, a prop, and a genre. Right? So, and we had to do something in 24 hours. So if anyone wants to take a little peek at this, if you want to be a volunteer, right? Volunteer a prop, and that we'll do it. And then we'll wrap the things up. And we'll go for 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 10 minutes. Go into the story until one of us gets stumped. How does that sound?
Okay, yeah. So guys, this is all just for fun, and we're gonna have a crazy time and interact. And okay. So you want to get started then, Josh?
Well, actually, I'm going to see if anyone has a suggestion first, and then we'll get started.
Okay.
Yeah, does anyone want, what kind of story do you want Sophia and I to tell? If nobody comes up with something, I'll make something up on the fly. But
people can they can add to it and stuff, right?
Absolutely. No, in fact, the more, the merrier. I'm a little terrified because my sister is in the audience and she might make me do something evil. That's okay. Someone who wants pickles for lunch. Do you want to hear a story about pickles for lunch?
Sure.
The pickles for lunch, okay. So there was. So you want me to get so how about this? Why don't we try to heist some pickles for lunch? Let's make it like we're desperate for pickles and we have to go after somebody for lunch. Does that work for you? Or do you want something a little bit more mundane?
No. Did you say a heist?
Yeah, heist. We're gonna heist some pickles. Does that sound like a plan?
I could heist pickles all day.
So we got a little bit of. Oh man.
I got my props.
Okay, you got your prop. Okay, so wait. Am I the hired goon and you're the brains, or am I the brains and you're the hired goon? Which one do you want to be?
I'm the hired. No, I'm the crazy one.
Okay, so you're the crazy one. Okay, so on that note, so I decided to go. So I go, Sophia, let's go get some pickles. Oh, that's my sister. See, I'm clearly the goon. That's my sister, of course. I am clearly the goon. Okay. So you're the brains. You can be the crazy one and the brains. Does that work, Sophia?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so you're the brains and the crazy one. So Sophia decides to steal some pickles, and she gets me to accompany her. So Sophia, what's your plan? What's the plan, boss?
Okay. The plan is you can't survive without pickle juice. In fact, you take pickle juice as a shot every morning and every night. Trust me, I know I've done this before. So the plan is you're going to break into the school cafeteria and you're going to break into the refrigerator and you're going to hire a truck to take all the pickle jars.
Okay.
And, you're going to create a diversion. So that means
create a diversion. So is this an elementary school or a high school?
High school.
High school, okay. So, in that case, I decided to do the only thing I can do. I decided to dress myself up, not in a suit and tie, but I dress myself up like a teenager, although because I'll stand out completely. Actually, no, wait, no, screw that. I'll wear a tutu. I'll go in, I'll wear a tutu. I will start singing. I go to the cafeteria, and I just start randomly singing a song. I don't know. I can't sing your songs. My octaves aren't good enough. So let's see. What song do I sing?
Staying Alive. You say Staying Alive by the Bee Gees.
Okay, I sing Alive by the Bee Gees. Right? I start singing in the aisle. I bring a drum and I just start banging the drum as hard as I can so that everybody and their mother knows that this giant man in a tutu is singing in there for some strange reason. I definitely draw the attention of the school. So what do you do?
So I call up my sister's best friend's boyfriend, who happens to be the son of a famous robber. Now he goes to the bank and he gets one of those really armored trucks that usually steals cash. He drives the truck, he brings it to the school, but then he needs to create another diversion. So what does he do? The principal's on his tail. So he has to bribe the principal. The principal's a lonely guy. He hasn't been married in his whole life and he's almost 40. So I create a diversion by hiring the school class president. She's in grade 10. And she goes and she sets up the principal on a blind date with her homeroom teacher. Now they are on a date for lunch, which he was like absolutely flabbergasted because he never gets a date. So now the principal's out of the equation. There's no problem. And then the truck can go right next to the cafeteria door and pick up those pickle jars.
Okay, so I'm banging. So I have to figure out my escape route. So, banging, would anyone touch me if I'm singing that Bee Gees song and banging on a drum and a tutu? Would anyone try to stop me? Probably not. Probably not.
I want to talk to you, no.
No one would want to. So I do that. So, but until you give me like the all clear signal, right? And then we go off and we do the all clear signal, and we meet up at the hideout. You, your friend's boyfriend, right, and me, and then we divide the pickle juice up. Is that how that goes?
Yeah, not my boyfriend. It's the person's boyfriend.
Yeah. So, principal, and then so when you do the count, it's like one pickle jar for us, and then you go one, and then you go 2 for you and 1, 2 for you, that kind of thing, or like I figure you'd probably take the lion's share of the pickles.
Of course I would.
Yeah. I agree with Brains and Brown. All right, Sophia, this was fun.
Oh, we finished the story! Yay!
Oh, we finished the story. It's really nice, and people are also we've gone for a good hour, which is really good. It flew by. So, Sophia, thank you very much for doing this. So we've plugged quite a few things. How will you plug where people can find you, real quick? That way, people can actually, in case anyone wants to get all this information out, like in one spot. Where do I find you?
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to put it in the chat. So actually, everybody who came, thank you so much. It means the world to me. All of you, I hope you had fun, and I hope you got to know me a little bit more. And I'm going to put in the chat my Instagram. So, sorry. That is not right. Okay, so that is my Instagram. Does everybody see that? And then my Facebook is just Sofia Evangelina Music, and my website is www.sofiaevangelina.com. So basically, what I would love for some of you to do, if you're not already, is when you go into my website, I would love to subscribe, because you're going to learn when my next single is coming out. It's coming really soon. You're going to be able to pre-save it, and we're going to be having a merchandise line and everything. It's going to be the real deal. So guys, Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And Joshua, it was amazing being interviewed by you. And hey, maybe next time I can interview you about your book.
You interview me? Okay. All right. Do I have to wear a suit?
Yeah.
Okay, I have to wear a suit. Okay, that's fine. We already got a deal. So for me, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to make this real quick. So my podcast is here. I'm on every platform, so you don't necessarily need this address, but that's the basics fine. My YouTube channel is here. The interesting thing about the YouTube channel is this whole conversation is there. You can find me at that channel, and you can find this conversation right now, and it will be there in perpetuity. And my book is The Cloud Diver. It just came out. And hold on one quick second there. One quick second there, and then if you guys like steampunk, cyberpunk, so it really is cyberpunk, steampunk, you can get the book there as well. And real quickly, I want to thank Sofia one more time. Thank you very much for coming and doing this. This was awesome. I had a blast.
Yeah, this was awesome. So once again, thanks, Josh. It was a mutual, a great time, and I appreciate each and every single one of you that came here. And I hope that you go, and if you're not already, I hope you become a part of my journey and a part of the musical evolution and all this to come, because I would love to support you in your dreams too. So okay, bye guys.
All right, Sophia, we do need to talk real quick. So I'm gonna let everybody go real fast.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Bye, Sophie.
Yeah.
Bye.
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 Bye, Dakota, sweetheart. Bye, Rihanna.
And thanks.
Bye, Sophia.
And thanks, sis.
Bye, Sarah. So nice to see you. Let's connect sometime.
Yeah, let's see face to face. Bye-bye.
Yes, of course. That'd be amazing. I hope you're safe.
That was my first Zoomcast with Sofia Evangelina. Learned an awful lot, like I said, technically. So I'm going to only answer this one question on the technical end. Would I stream on Zoom again? The answer to that is not by myself. It's a full-time job to maintain the YouTube and the Zoom and still be able to perform an interview. But more than that, it's also just a matter of Zoom. There's a lot of potential with. You can do an awful lot with a Zoom style stream. I actually think you can do a lot more with it than StreamYard. To my streaming friends listening to this, there are options to explore there. The trick with Zoom is it's best if they're, in that case, if you have you have a crew. It's best working in a crew because your computer can only see so much and only do so much. So that's just like the technical end. But I couldn't have been happier with the guest I had. Sophia, thank you very much for taking this chance with me. And yeah, we'll definitely do it again down the road. And yeah, you're still one of my favorite guests. You still are. So, guys, stay tuned for Endure. Stay tuned for Sophia's career. She's going to do incredibly well, and I know she is. So, all that said, thanks everybody for listening to this episode of Just Joshing. If you want to support the podcast, do so a number of different ways. I'm on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, as well as Podomatic. My book, The Cloud Diver, is available now. My Twitter and Instagram is at jpantelaresco. My YouTube channel, where this originally aired, is at Joshua Pantelaresco. It's still there. It's going to stay there. I'm sure Sophia will have her own version of this up soon. When it does, I'll announce it here. Beyond all that, guys, stay inspired, chase joy, and I'll talk to you guys next week.
Josh.